Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be trying a type of ramen called mazesoba in 2 different places. The first store is going to be Menya Hanabi in Los Angeles, and the second store is also going to be Menya Hanabi, but in Japan. Menya Hanabi is known as the chain that first popularized this type of dry ramen, and by some, the originator. Mazesoba is typically topped with ground pork, pork belly, chives, green onions, and egg yolk, and seasoned with various spices, garlic, diced onion, and soy sauce. I really love this type of ramen, and to prove my dedication, I'm going to be traveling to Nagoya just to see if the original store for mazesoba is better than the one that we have in the States. Nagoya is Japan's 4th largest city and is about 200 miles or an hour and a half away from Tokyo by bullet train or Shinkansen. I got off the train in Nagoya and unfortunately the weather was not on my side. It was raining and I did not have an umbrella. There was a line outside the door, and if you don't know, in Japan, most of the signs and menus are in Japanese because typically shop owners speak minimal English. Thankfully, the line was relatively quick and I was able to use Google Translate to order off the store iPad, and then you are seated at your own individual booth at the counter. As with most ramen shops, the kitchen is open so you can see all of the magic that is happening. Being the foreigner that I was, they even gave me a bib so I don't stain my clothing. The wait was definitely worth it. The mazesoba came off the counter glistening and steaming hot. So some differences from the Los Angeles location include the fact that in LA, they gave you kind of a poached egg to mix in, whereas here it is just the egg yolk. The spices and the condiments are similar, and you mix in the vinegar to add acidity and to cut through the fat. The taste, as you can imagine, was absolutely amazing. If any of you guys ever watched the anime Food Wars, I felt like I needed to remove all my pieces of clothing because it was getting hot in here. The texture is very creamy and rich with the pork fat and egg yolk, but it is balanced by the spices and acidity of the vinegar. There is a crunch that is added by the sliced dry seaweed and a crispness afforded by the green onions and chives. Overall, I would rate this dish a 5 out of 5. It is no wonder why this dish is so popular in Japan and is slowly coming to other parts of the world. So now for the $1,000,000 question. How does the original Nagoya, Japan location compare to what you can find in the United States? In LA, the noodles were a bit harder to mix, and this was in part due to the noodles being a bit more clumped upon arrival. I'm not sure if they were sitting around for a bit while longer, as here I was doing regular table service, or if perhaps the starch content here was higher. The dish also tasted a bit more heavier and rich, to the point where it was a bit too much. They also give you an entire poached egg to mix in rather than just the egg yolk. On Yelp, it does look like some people do get their dish with just the egg yolk, but others, like me, get the poached egg, so I'm pretty sure this is an option. Price-wise, it is also more expensive to eat in LA due to higher costs of living. In Japan, I spent 1350 yen or $10 US, tax included, and in Japan, you don't tip at all. In LA, for the same dish, it was $15 pre-tax and tip. Overall, I would rate the LA version 4 out of 5 stars, so I would say it is 80% of the way there. At the end of the meal, in both locations, you also get a scoop of rice to mix in to finish off any leftover minced pork or sauce. It is definitely a hefty portion, so be sure to come hungry. And that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for similar content in the future.